Hi everyone. Just going to go through one or two things related to the future tense. You'll have seen aspects of this before, but there's a new form of the future tense which I want to show you. So just to, I'll rattle through this fairly quickly, but obviously I'll put this PowerPoint up on Google Classroom for you to peruse at your leisure. So just to recap on some of the stuff that you already know. So if we just start by looking at one or two sentences in English, and if you just reflect a little on the differences between the yellow and the black phrases here. I'm going to play football. I will play football. We are going to sing. We will sing. She is going to eat a pizza. She will eat a pizza. Okay. And think about what you think the difference might be between the yellow and the black phrases. I'm going to suggest to you that there are subtle differences in their usage, okay, but also that there isn't sort of fundamental differences, as in they both express future actions. So I'm going to play football. I will play football. They're both ways of expressing the fact that football will take place or is going to take place at some point in the future. So they're both ways of expressing the future, going to and will. Okay. So yeah, so two ways to express the future. The going to way of talking about the future, you're already very familiar with. So it's the bit of ir, so the verb to go. Plus a plus the infinitive. Okay, so your voi vas va, vamos vais van. Okay. There's two ways of translating voi vas va, vamos vais van. Particularly important for you to note the second way of translating it, the bits in green. Okay, that's often a way of translating voi vas va, vamos vais van that English speakers overlook. And then and then your infinitive. Okay, so that's all very much stuff that you're familiar with and you've seen before. And this is what sentences using the going to method will look like, okay, as you're very well aware. Okay, so voy a hablar, vamos a hablar, vais a salir. Okay, so your bit of ir plus a plus your infinitive. Okay, so 3 bits needed for the near future. Okay. So here are some examples of the near future. I'm going to sing, voy a cantar. They're going to listen, van a escuchar, and it is going to be fun. Va a ser divertido. Okay, notice each time that we are following very strictly the formula for this. The bit of ir, the red bit, the yellow bit, plus the infinitive, the green bit. Okay. If you want to make some of these sentences negative, so for example, say that you're not going to sing, or that they are not going to listen, or it's not going to be fun, just put a no in before the voi vas va. Okay. Normally, to negate something, you put a no in before the conjugated verb. The conjugated verb in this context is voi vas va, vamos vais van. Okay. So you'd end up with sentences like no voy a cantar. I'm not going to sing. Turning these into questions, okay, just do your usual thing of putting question marks around the statement that you created, okay. So van a escuchar, a statement is not a question, okay. They're going to listen, put question marks around it, van a escuchar, okay, and all of a sudden it turns into a question. Are they going to listen? Okay, just a final point on this, which is actually fairly sort of advanced. Careful when you're using reflexive verbs with the near future. Okay, so reflexive verbs, as you'll remember, ones ending in ese. Okay, like lavarse, ducharse, despertarse, and alojarse. Okay, and you've used those reflexive verbs in the past to basically you've taken off the ese and you've had to put an extra bit at the front, the thing we call a reflexive pronoun, the me, te, se, nos, or se. So there's a reflexive verb written out in full for you. This is all just to remind you. Okay. And basically, when you're actually constructing the near future, so your bit of ir, your a, and your infinitive, if the infinitive that you need happens to be a reflexive verb, you need to stick the right bit of the me, te, se, nos, or se on the end, or you can actually stick it before the voi vas va, vamos vais van. So you end up with sentences that could look like this if you're using the near future plus a reflexive verb. So voy a lavarme, vas a lavarte, va a lavarse, vamos a lavarnos, y vais a lavaros, and van a lavarse. Okay, or as I said, you can put the mete, se, nos, o se. You can stick it before the conjugated verb. Okay, so me voy a lavar, te vas a lavar, etc., etc. Okay. So now would probably be a good time to do exercise A from your worksheet. Okay, so have a look at those 10 sentences. Okay, moving on to the other way of the other future tense. You might refer to it as the real future. Okay, so this is how the Spanish will translate will or won't. So if you look at the example, I will go out later. Okay, and obviously the negative of that being I won't go out later. So what you're looking to translate in the next few minutes is will and won't. So the headline news about this is that normally when you're forming a new tense, you take off the AR, ER, and IR. With the future tense, you don't. You keep the infinitive. Okay, and then you add the following endings, as you can see in point 2. Okay, as, a, hemos, eis, an. Okay, so as I say, the bit that's going to possibly take you by surprise is that you don't take off your AR, ER, and IR for the future tense. Okay, the stem is the infinitive. Okay, so you notice here with the examples, hablar is the verb to talk, and we keep the entirety of the infinitive, and then we add on to the infinitive the A. So hablaré con el jefe mañana. I will talk to the boss tomorrow. Good news is for all of the endings, AR, ER, for all verbs, AR, ER, and IR verbs, the endings are the same 6 endings. Okay, so not a whole load of different endings for you to learn. Okay, so if we just look at what that looks like, so hablaré, hablarás, hablará, hablaremos, hablaréis, hablarán. Okay, and by putting those endings on the infinitive, you translate the idea of will. Okay, so I will speak, you will speak, all the rest of it. Okay, notice the stress on the end. Okay, so hablaré, hablarás, hablará, hablaremos, hablaréis, hablarán. Okay, and obviously to make those negative, you just put a no before the verbs, and so the will become won't. So I will speak, hablaré. I won't speak, no hablaré. Okay, you will speak, hablarás. You won't speak, no hablarás. Okay. Okay, and that's what that's just a useful summary table of what an AR, ER, and IR verb looks like. Okay, as pointed out before, they have the same 6 endings on, and all of those endings are tacked on to the end of the infinitive. Okay, don't forget what we're translating here: will, or in the negative, won't. As always with verb work, there are some irregular verbs. Okay, there are sort of 12 common irregular verbs. We're going to refer to them as the dirty dozen. Okay, and these verbs are listed here. Okay, salir, tener, venir, poner, saber, poder, querer, and caber. Okay, and there's a slide coming up with them written out in slightly more detail. Okay, you'll notice here that the stems are actually got the I ending on, so the E with an accent. So the actual stem of salir is saldr, tener is tendre, venir is vendre, etc., etc. Okay, so the stem is what you see here, but without the E on. Okay. Okay, and here's another way of writing that table, but you've got the English written for you on the right hand side there. Okay, so here's a summary table which I'm going to upload to Google Classroom. Okay, I strongly suggest you, if you have a colour printer, that'd be fab, and print this out and stick this in your books. Okay, it's certainly the best sort of reference table that you can have, really, just to neatly summarise what it is you've seen. Okay, so that in a snapshot is the future tense. Okay, or the 2 ways of expressing yourself in the future. There are more ways, as we'll see in reality, but those are the 2 main ways.